Welcome, guys, to Frontline Football. I'm Zach. I'm still the undefeated team in this. My team's still undefeated, and they're gonna stay like that this whole entire week. And we got Kyler Murray. We got Rondale Moore, Rookie of the Year, if Jamar Chase wasn't a thing, which he won't be for a little bit. Then we have Andre Hopkins, the best wide receiver in the league. We have Buda Baker, Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt, Xavier Collins, Isaiah Simmons, what's his name? Malcolm Butler logging down the first option, second option, easy. We got Marco Wilson. And the Seahawks are injured. So, get wrecked, Seahawks fans. I hate you. So, welcome, guys, to Frontline Football. I'm Zach. I hate the Seahawks. Now, let's get predictions started. Why does Tampa get two primetime games? That's so stupid. I think that they don't deserve that. Alright, well, we're going to start off with predictions with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to hand this one off to Josh.
Tampa Bay or Philly, I gotta go with Tampa here. As much as Philly has proven a lot of us wrong in a couple ways, they still are the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm gonna have to give it to Tampa here. Zach, what are your thoughts on the game?
The Buccaneers, I think that they have, other than the Cardinals, one of the best teams in football. I think they're a top five team. The Eagles, I mean, they play solid. Like, they actually play really well against the Panthers. They played well against the Niners. Really good teams. It's just they never been able to like finish a game against a good team except for the Panthers. So I have to give it to the I have to give it to the Buccaneers. Jack.
I'm also gonna go Bucks. It's pretty simple. The Bucks kind of had a bit of a statement win last week when they beat the crap out of Miami. Philadelphia will do a little bit better job, probably. It was an impressive comeback against the Panthers, but ultimately, the Bucks aren't gonna drop a game to the Eagles in prime time here. I'm taking the Bucks.
All right. Our next matchup is the Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. Jack.
I am going to go Packers. Could be close because the Bears, they were impressive against the Raiders, who were literally exploding the last couple of days. But they had some good bright spots. The defense looked better. Justin Fields did an okay job, but ultimately, I think Green Bay, it was a little too close for comfort last week for the Packers, and I think they're gonna have to beat the Chicago Bears a little more convincingly. I think they do this week. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I gotta go with the Packers. I think that Rodgers just has a little bit more time in the NFL than Fields does. While their kicking situation does have to be resolved very quickly, I think that could be resolved, and the Packers will win this game. Zach?
I got the Packers. Um, yeah, the Bears could win. There's a shot that the Bears can win. Like, pass rush just gets to Aaron Rodgers because they are dealing with injuries on the O line. Justin Fields doesn't have to deal with Jari Alexander or Zay. What's that guy's name? That's pass rusher. All right. Zadarius Smith. So doesn't have to deal with those. I think Kevin King is injured too. So it is a really weak secondary that Justin Fields has to go to. And I just think that if Aaron Rodgers wants to win, it's going to be under him and Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. So, yeah. And let's see what the Packers can do. All right, our next matchup is the LA Rams versus the New York Giants. All right. Well, I'll go first. LA. LA looked really good, except for some of the time, against the Seahawks. Now, did let Geno Smith have the same exact stats as Russell Wilson, but I don't want to talk about that. That's just Russell Wilson not being a top five quarterback, like I said in my hot take video, which you should go watch after this. But yeah, I think that LA is just a better team. So yeah, Jack.
The Rams, and it's going to be rough for the Giants because Saquon's ankle is swelled up to a massive amount. Daniel Jones is barely functioning as a human being after getting his bell rung, and Kenny Galladay is probably not playing. So there goes the Giants' offense as a whole. Plus, the Rams get the long week because they got to play on Thursday, so they got extra time to prepare, even though they probably wouldn't need it. The Giants' defense has struggled more than we thought it would, and overall, it's going to be really hard for the Giants to win with Daniel Jones at half strength, no Kenny Galladay, and probably no Saquon. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I gotta go with the LA Rams. I think that they're just a better team in this situation, and I think that they're gonna keep their used to be undefeated streak, now having one loss to the Cardinals. I think they're gonna keep this alive and beat the Giants. Beat them. Yeah, they're gonna beat the Giants.
Okay, our next matchup is the Minnesota Vikings versus the Carolina Panthers. Josh,
I gotta hand it to the Vikings this week. I think that they're going to win. While I do believe the Panthers will put up a good game, I cannot trust them after Sam Darnold gave me 6 fantasy points this week. Because he threw 3 interceptions. The one week I put him in, he doesn't get 30 points. Now I'm sad and mad. So, give me the Vikings. Jack?
I'm also going to go Vikings. I like the Vikings here, mainly because both these teams are kind of in desperate, not necessarily like panic mode, but they both could definitely use the win. But I like the Vikings D-line. The Panthers O-line was awful last week, and it made Sam Darnold equally as awful, back to his New York Jet form. And I think the Vikings D-line will be able to do a similar job here, because they're still a pretty solid D-line as a whole. If the offense just needs to pick it up a little bit from the Lions game, but it seems like people play down to the Lions level a lot. The Ravens did it whenever it was super competitive, and then they bounced back a week later. And I think similar thing will happen here, and Minnesota will get the win. What are your thoughts, Zach?
CMC gonna be back or no?
I think he's a maybe.
Well, maybe he's not good enough, so I got the Vikings also. Because they need Christian McCaffrey back to set up the run game, so then Sam Darnold can set up play action plays, so then he can get those yards, they can get those points for fantasy. So with CMC being a maybe and Trevor Harbard having great games, it's just not CMC level games. I think the Vikings have a win. Now Dalvin Cook might not be able to play either, so Kirk Cousins needs to depend on his arm also. So this is going to be a very weird matchup if both their running backs are not there. So, yeah. Alright. Our next matchup is the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Washington Football Team. I'm going to hand this one off to Jack.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Now, I understand the Chiefs are struggling, to say the least, definitely. But I watched some of the Washington Saints game, and it was complete chaos. This so-called elite defense just gave up crazy scores. Jameis Winston has ridiculous throws, and he's just lightning him down the field for the most part. I think Mahomes is going to try to bounce back. I think Washington will keep it competitive because Heineke will do all right, but ultimately I see Kansas City coming out on top here. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I gotta go with the Chiefs because the football team right now is a literal dumpster fire in and outside the organization. If you're a football team, this is coming from a Texans fan, I'm so sorry about your organization because we may suck, we may get blown out and choke leads, but your organization literally has put on administrative leave 2 of your trainers. You're currently being searched by the DEA for use of drugs and other charges that they're trying to find you guilty of. So your whole organization is just a dumpster fire right now. Your whole team from last year, I don't even know why I chose you guys. When literally this is the football team. They're just the same old thing as the R word that they used to have on their logo. So I don't really know what to think of you guys anymore. So I'm going to give this one to the Chiefs because at least the Chiefs can run a competent organization unlike the football team.
Alright. I'll finish this off, and I got the Chiefs. The Chiefs they have struggled big time. And they lost to the Chargers, the Ravens, and the Bills. But all those teams are playoff teams. So the football team, last year they were a playoff team, but yeah, they're not a playoff team anymore. They are nowhere near a playoff team because the Cowboys are a lot better than all the teams in the NFC East. So I got the Chiefs winning. I think the Chiefs will get a bounce back, and then they're gonna lose to whoever the next good team that they face. So then they won't make the playoffs. All right, our next matchup is the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Detroit Lions. Josh,
I think I gotta go with Detroit here. As much as I want to lean Cincy with this game, I feel like Detroit just has that edge. They're gonna be playing with some kind of fire in this game, and they're gonna beat the Bengals. I know I'm probably going to lose this game, but give me the Detroit Lions here. Zach?
I got the Bengals. The Bengals are actually a good team now. Their pass rush is starting to look really good. Jesse Bates is always really good for their team. One of the best safeties, most underrated safety in the league. I think that their offense is really elite. I think that O line is finally starting to pass protect for Burrow, which is so nice to see. Now Burrow did have a throat contusion, but he is doing fine. Jamar Chase is working. Tyler Boyd's doing well. T. Higgins hopefully returns, but he's been doing solid. So I think that this team is just really good. Now the one thing that they need to work on, like the Packers, is kicking. They missed three or two PA extra points, so they gotta work on that. But other than that, the Bengals have a really solid team, and they could make the playoffs this year. Heck,
I'm also going to go Bengals here. The Bengals, they've been very impressive through these first couple games. I didn't expect them to be this good. I thought they'd improve a little bit with Joe Burrow back, but I didn't think it would be this big of a jump. They were in it with the Packers the entire time, multiple chances to probably win that game that they just missed out on. And overall, the Lions, I think they'll be able to keep it close because that's just who they've been as of late, but I think the Bengals will come out on top here.
all right, our next matchup is the best matchup on here. I think it's actually the game of the week. It's either that or the Chargers, uh, Ravens. This is my opinion. The game of the week. Browns, Cardinals. I think that this will be really good. It's the Sooner Bowl, and I have to say Arizona's going to keep their win streak going. I got Arizona. They're the best team in football by record and by skill, in my opinion, because everyone is working. I already said in the intro how good our team is and what great players we have on that team. So yeah, I got Arizona. Jack,
I'm going to go Cardinals. Mainly because just everything clicks. They just keep winning. So until they start losing, I'm just going to keep picking them. I think the Browns could be a chance to give them their first loss here. But ultimately, I think Kyler's going to kind of be electric this game and going to put the Cardinals over the top. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I gotta go with the Cardinals here. The Browns are way too consistent for me to choose them. With Baker having the ups and downs like a roller coaster, and that defense, Miles Garrett sometimes breaking loose sacks and sometimes not even being good at all. I can't choose them. They're way too inconsistent for me.
right. Our next matchup is the Dallas Cowboys versus the New England Patriots. Jack,
I'm going to go Dallas. I really like the Cowboys this season. They've been very good. I think New England, they've had some growing pains, to say the least. It's been hard for Mac Jones. He's done some good stuff. He's done some bad stuff. But New England did not win that game nearly impressive enough last week for me to give them a chance against Dallas. I think Mac Jones gets picked off by Trayvon Diggs maybe once or twice, and I think that's the difference maker. Give me Dallas. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I gotta go with the Cowboys. It may have said that Mac Jones only had one interception in that game. That's because the Texans linebackers don't know how to involve, and David Coley doesn't know how to coach it to save his life. Because his strategy for players getting penalized is to take the out of drills to make them feel bad. that's not how you coach. You run a lap or do something. Don't just like, oh, you get taken out of a drill because you by someone, so now you feel bad for making your team suffer. Also, linebacker of the Texans had 3 picks come, or Mac Jones would have had a 4-pick game. Davis Mills had a really good game. He had 3 touchdowns. He had all the things go, and I'm sorry to say it, their defense will keep them in the game, but Mac Jones is going to make a rookie mistake down the stretch to lose the game against the Cowboys. Zach?
Cowboys. I think that the Cowboys offense will score so much that the Patriots offense cannot keep up. Now, Mac Jones, his game is so boring, and there is a big problem with his mechanic. I think he has the best mechanics in the league for rookies, but his game is so boring to watch. If you watch a Mac Jones game, you're not gonna have fun unless you're watching this game, which the Cowboys will destroy them. I think Trayvon Diggs will have another pick, and that will be what, 6 picks, 7? I think. I don't
Yeah,
know,
I think so.
but it's one of those, a high number, and I think if Trayvon Diggs keeps this up, he's a defensive player of the year. He's already leading in that. Already leading. So I have to go with Cowboys. All right. The next team is the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Seattle Seahawks. I'm gonna take this one. I have the Steelers. Um, the Seahawks lost Russell Wilson. I'll talk about that more on news, but that's not good. If you're starting Geno Smith, I think his name is, and he posted the same amount of stats as Russell Wilson did, that tells you either something about him or that tells you something about Russell Wilson. I think that tells you something about Russell Wilson. Maybe he's not a top 5 quarterback. Yeah, I think Pittsburgh's defense, they have TJ Watt. They're going to do well. They're going to stop Smith from getting good yards. And the Seahawks are just in a really bad situation. Maybe they're not going to make the playoffs this year. Maybe Pete Carroll will finally get fired for the fraud that he is. Like Jack's hot take video in that Seahawks video. Jack?
I'm going to go Steelers here. I have firsthand experience with Mr. Geno Smith from my time as a Jets fan, and it's not good for the most part. There was some fun stuff, but most of the time, it's not great. And truthfully, with the Seahawks, Russell Wilson masked a lot of the flaws on the team. Like, they don't have an explosive tight end anymore with Gerald Everett down. Their O-line is mediocre at best. And, the defense, I don't have to go into the defense. It's kind of rough out there. Ultimately, while I don't think the Steelers are that much better, I think that the Seahawks defense is going to do just enough to help the Steelers win the game here. Geno maybe will play all right, but if TJ Watt is back healthy this week, again, then I think Geno Smith is not going to be able to handle that pressure. I think the Steelers get the win here. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I gotta go with the Seahawks here. I think the Steelers are way too banged up to be facing a team like this. Because you're bringing up a lot of good points about Seattle having no defense, but you also have to remember, Big Ben has no arm. They don't do running. Even though they have a rushing back in Najee Harris, probably one of the best that we've seen, and they're using him as a receiving back. So I feel like the downfall of the Steelers will be their defense cannot hold up for like 1 or 2 plays, and Geno Smith will score. Because you can't forget, Geno Smith is an NFL player, and he did put up a lot of points last week. So, I think that they're going to win because the Steelers are just way too banged up and can't handle the Seahawks.
All right. Our next matchup is the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Miami Dolphins. Josh?
The NFL wonders why they can't people to watch their stuff, even though they're giving them matchups like Jaguars. No wonder nobody wants to tune into the NFL besides Americans. You give them all the hoop matchups that we don't want to see. You put it on primetime television at 8:30 in the morning. Now will I wake up for this? Probably yes. And I think Miami will be winning this game, and the London fans are going to go home because their hometown Jacksonville Jaguars in London will lose. and the Dolphins will win this game. Jack?
I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I don't know if this is an upset or not. Both of these teams are terrible. But the Jaguars, they haven't shown much. They got run over by Derrick Henry last week. I believe the Dolphins are pretty close to getting Tua back, and if they get him back this week, I think it will help a little bit. Not much, but slightly. But I think the Dolphins, they're bound to get back on track. They were 10-6 last season. I think they're going to eventually have to pick up wins, and they're probably not going to be the reason the Giants get their first win. But ultimately, I'm sorry to the Londoners. 2 weeks in a row. I don't know why the NFL does this. They just keep sending the bad matchups. Our apologies. Go watch the NFC West on recording or something. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, they should watch the best division in football. Well, the two of the best teams. We don't. Seahawks and Niners are right now a disgrace to the NFC West, but we don't talk about them. I have the Jags winning. I think the Jags actually do have a chance on winning this game, and if Tua's not playing, the Jags have an even greater chance. I know they don't have DJ Chark, but they do have James Robinson, and James Robinson can run all over that Dolphins defense, and they got some playmakers on that team that they can use. Now, they don't have their first-round corner that they drafted last year. They gone for Dan Arnold. Okay, Dan Arnold's good. He played for the Cardinals. He played for a little bit for the Panthers. He is not worth what C.J. Henderson was. That's fine. Oh, yeah. I think that Jacksonville will get the win, though, because they're in London. They'll be looking good, hopefully. All right. Our next matchup is the Houston Texans versus the Indianapolis Colts. Josh.
Okay. I know that this may be a really big hot take here, but I have the Houston Texans beating the Indianapolis Colts. Because I think I saw enough from Davis Mills last week to help the Texans win this game. Yeah, they did choke a lead, but that was also because of David Culley's dumb play calling. The punt that went 0 yards. Kaimi Fairbairn not being able to hit a broadside of a barn. Our defense folding and forgetting that there was a second half. There was a lot of problems in that game, but we're not going to focus on them. I'm going to say the Texans are winning because Davis Mills will carry us to maybe 1 or 2 wins this year. Zach?
The Colts. Colts look really good against the Ravens. And the Ravens, I know that they did come back and beat them. That Colts pass rush was so lethal. That got Lamar Jackson like really throwing the ball to his receivers, which was really cool. And so yeah, Jack.
I'm also going to go Colts. Houston, they played better. They're getting there. They're making progress, but still the Colts, they were in control for most of the Ravens game until they collapsed. I think they're better than their record shows. They're known for going off to slow starts and kind of picking it up as time goes on. I think they'll pick up the win here.
All right. Our next matchup is the LA Chargers versus the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to hand this one off to Jack.
I'm going to go with, I don't know if it's an upset or not, but I'm going to go with the Ravens. This could go either way, to be honest. The Chargers and the Ravens both had super impressive wins. Here, I think they're pretty evenly matched as a team. Chargers may be having the edge, but I think Lamar is going to do just enough to get the win, and I think the Chargers going to the East Coast to play a noon game will be a little hard. I think it will be just enough to put Lamar over the top and get the win here. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I have Chargers. Number one, I have to choose different from you, so that's a little interesting. But two, I think that this matchup, like Jack said, could go either way. This matchup's going to be either the game of the week or the Cardinals Browns will be the game of the week. Either way, this is going to be either of those matchups are going to be really good. And I feel like Ravens and Chargers will get it because the Chargers have a bigger market. Anyway, this is going to be a fireworks show with Lamar just running all over and Herbert just doing what Herbert has been doing and being an MVP player. Now, will he win? No, it's only a second year. They're not going to give it to a second-year player. So, yeah. Josh?
I got the Chargers winning this game. I think that the Ravens didn't show me enough last week they did win, but that was off a Rodrigo Blankenship miss kick and blocked kick, and also he was injured. And then it was also with Lamar Jackson fumbling a lot of times to get a lot of the yards. So I think that the Ravens will not win this game. I think the Chargers showed me too much last week for me to bet on the Ravens this week. So I gotta go Los Angeles here.
All right. Our next matchup is the Vegas Raiders versus the Denver Broncos. We'll talk about Gruden during the news, but Beck, you want to? Oh no, Josh, you want to open us up?
I gotta go with the Broncos here. The Raiders are way too dysfunctional for me to choose them. With an interim head coach, I can't believe that they're going to win this game. Even if Drew Lock is at quarterback, I think that the Broncos will do just enough to beat the Grudenless Raiders. So, Jack, your thoughts?
I'm also going to go Broncos here. I think the Raiders losing John Gruden as a head coach kind of just flips the script upside down. It's kind of just going to be chaos for a little bit as everyone tries to figure out what's happening in the coaching staff. And we saw the Raiders, they lost to a strong Bears defense. And Teddy Bridgewater is going to be a little better from the concussion. He'll be making progress. On top of that, Von Miller, no Bradley Chubb, but the good Broncos defense is going to be able to do enough, similar to what they did to the Bears last week. I think the Broncos will be over the top here for the win. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I think that Derek Carr, Darren Waller, and Henry Ruggs will do well. And I think that their interim head coach hopefully will do well. The defense still scares me a little bit because that defense will let up a lot. This matchup's going to be pretty good, I think, also. Not like good and like, oh, it's going to be like the Chargers Ravens. No, it's just going to be good because it's going to be two bad teams going against each other that hope to make the playoffs all the time. I feel like the Raiders will get this win, even without Gruden. So, yeah. All right, our final matchup, which is going to be Monday Night Football. It's actually a good matchup. Buffalo Bills versus the Tennessee Titans. Now, we saw this matchup last time, and Jack's going to take this one.
All right. I'm going to go with Bills. Do not let the Titans' impressive win over the Jaguars fool you. It's the Jaguars. They lost to the Jets just 2 weeks ago, and they're still half their team is on injury report. Where the Bills have steamrolled everyone and are completely healthy. And I think that momentum is going to continue to swing into this week with them getting the big win on the Monday Night Football. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I gotta say, the Buffalo Bills, their streak of dominance since they've lost to the Steelers is just way too good. And I think that the Titans, with their 3-2 record, can fool a lot of people, and they're first in the AFC South. The only big wins that they've gotten is against the Seahawks, Colts, and Jags. Those are their 3 wins. So, and they lost to the Jets, 24-27. So, yeah, I gotta give it to the Bills. They've been looking really good. Josh Allen has shown why he is an MVP candidate in these last 4 weeks. I think that stretch of dominance will continue on Monday Night Football.
Bills. I like them. I think the Bills have a really solid team. Josh Allen's an MVP talent. Their defense is looking so good right now. Like last year we had 2 years ago we had a really good Bills defense and an alright Josh Allen, and then we had a really good Josh Allen, alright defense. Now they're coming together and they are looking lethal. So I think that the Bills have a very strong chance. I think they can make the Super Bowl with this roster if healthy. And I think if the season ended right now, I think the Super Bowl would be Bills Cardinals, which that would be such a good Super Bowl. So the Bills would figure out a way to lose because they lose the Super Bowl in a dumb fashion. They lost 4 Super Bowls. All right? Cardinals have only lost 1. They've lost 4. That's different, Josh. All right? Yeah, and we actually have the more MVP talent, Josh and Kyler Murray. So yeah, Bills. Still not the best team in football, though. Well, that does it for our video today. Josh, if they liked it, what should they do?
Don't forget to punch that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you gotta do one thing, punch the like button because that helps getting more views. And if you like seeing this content, just give us a like. So thank you for staying all the way to the end. I've been Josh from Frontline Football, and Jack hit the plugs.
As always, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Frontline FB, right there. There. Yeah. You see it. And we'll be back here. We got news this week, which is cool. This will come out after news, I think. I'm not sure how I'm going to schedule it yet. But we'll see you guys back here next week for more predictions.